I'll just say this. The media has a responsibility to ensure when you are putting things out on your platform that you are not feeding into some of the racial divides and some of the biases in regards to this case, right? I can't.
Says the person who literally said at the beginning of this that it is about race. And people who aren't making it about race are basically, they should be making it about race because it is a race issue. Karmelo, this is about the fact that Karmelo Anthony is a black man who is being mistreated by the law. He literally said it was about race. So now you're contradicting yourself, sir. They have now decided that, you know what, the facts aren't on our side. It has been revealed that we have released fake autopsy reports. It has been revealed that there have been fake social media accounts made to make Austin Metcalf out to be a racist. And they decided they can't continue to push that because it's false and it's hurting their case. So now they've got to come up with something different. They've got to come up with something new. But the thing is it's not new. We see this in case after case. When the facts are not on their side, what do we see a lot of times? The race card is then pulled out. Now it's about race. They have decided, first they were saying this is not about race, but now that's not working. So now it is about race and how Karmelo Anthony he is a victim of racism in America because he is a black man who committed a crime and he's going to be held accountable. So now it is a race issue, according to Karmelo Anthony's spokesperson. We're going to get into the spokesperson's comments and so much more in today's show, but I want you to understand something. The people, Karmelo Anthony supporters, are far from finished, it seems like. They have obviously created a whole new story, a false story that they're pushing that has been debunked several times. The police report does not support their story at all. But they've continually pushed the story. They've raised hundreds of thousands of dollars on fake narratives, such as Austin Metcalf's fake social media account that they have released and said that Austin Metcalf was spewing racism before the event. They've done all this stuff, and it doesn't seem like they're finished. Now, because they know the truth is not on their side, and there's apparently a video out, the spokesperson has decided to come on here and say what you're about to hear. I'm Tamera. You're watching the Tamera Nealy Show. I want to welcome back all my returning subscribers. And if you're new here, I would like to let you know I am happy you're here. Okay. So let's say a quick word of prayer and let's get right into it. Lord, I thank you for today. Lord, I thank you for Austin Metcalf's family. I pray that you give them strength today. I know that they're more than likely planning for Austin's funeral. That's going to happen on Saturday. So Lord, I ask you to be their comforter. You promise to be with the brokenhearted. You promise to be close to those who are crushed in spirit, Lord. And I'm asking you to be close to their family today, Lord. Continue to minister to them, Lord. Give them wisdom on what to do and what not to do, what to say and what not to say, and give them strength to face today. I know this is a tough day for them. They're waking up to a tragedy every single day that they're facing. Lord, they need you. I pray for his dad as well, Austin Metcalf's dad, Lord. Continue to help him to share the gospel. Continue to help him share his faith, even though he's been faced with this terrible tragedy, Lord. We thank you, Lord, for who you are. Thank you, Lord, that you are still working, Lord. Thank you that there is still room for us to continue to press into who you are. We thank you for who you are, Lord. And I pray for everyone else involved, Lord. Be with them today as well. Be with Karmelo as he's behind bars, Lord. Give him wisdom. Help him to tell the truth. Help him to know that the truth is what will set him free. And I pray for the online community. Help them to stop spreading lies. A lot of them are spreading so many false lies, and I'm asking you to help them to stop doing that. In Jesus' name, amen. I want to go ahead and recap what we know about this tragedy. On April 2nd, the police got a call, it was around 10 a.m., that someone had been stabbed at a track meet, at a Frisco track meet. They rush over there and they learn that Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony had a brief altercation between each other. And as we talked about yesterday, we don't see any bruises on Karmelo Anthony. However, it seems like his ego was bruised because he was intimidated by Austin Metcalf, it seems like. And so they're having this altercation, and Karmelo Anthony says, "Touch me and see what happens." Obviously, there was some shoving or something happened between both of them. And Karmelo Anthony proceeds to reach into his backpack and pull out a knife and stab Austin Metcalf straight into the heart. After that, we know that Austin Metcalf's brother was then holding him in his arms while he took his last breath, trying to stop the bleeding from happening. We also know that Karmelo Anthony proceeded to ask if Austin Metcalf would be okay after he had committed a senseless act, knowing good and well that that was a deadly weapon, and has the nerve to ask if he's going to be okay because he made a split decision impulsively, and it costed someone their life. Now Karmelo Anthony is facing first-degree murder, and he is sitting behind bars. It is a tragic story all the way around. And this story continuously develops, and now we see that Black America has come not to the defense of the victim, but to the suspect, to the perpetrator, Karmelo Anthony. We are going to get into the facts in the story, and that is what we're going to continue to focus on. So if there is new information that comes out that Karmelo Anthony was just this innocent person who was being bullied by Austin Metcalf, and that's verified and we can see the evidence, then I will report on that too. But that is not the case here. And we are seeing that as the story continues to develop. Let's go ahead and get into the press conference that Karmelo Anthony's spokesperson did. Before we get into this interview, some people ask how they can support the Tamera Nealy Show. The best way to support the show is hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comment section, and be sure you're subscribed. Our next goal is 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we thank you for helping us make that happen. Also, you can check us out on TikTok, the.tamera.nealy. Thank you, and let's go ahead and get into this video.
We're good. Alrighty.
So we're not going to play this whole thing because it is like almost like it's 36 minutes long, but we're going to cover just a couple key segments in this interview or in this press conference because we still want to talk about Jason Whitlock. He made some good points about this press conference. I don't know why I keep saying interview. About this press conference.
I want to start off by saying real quick that my comments are represented today by the Next Generation Action Network that have been working with the Anthony family from the advocacy standpoint. I'm not the Anthony family attorney. Of course, you know the Next Generation Action Network is no stranger to this line of work.
Interesting. The Next Generation Action is no stranger to this line of work, he says. Let's go ahead and do just a little digging. The spokesperson who's representing them was a part of a tragic case where 5 officers were brutally murdered by activists. And they say that he's partially responsible for the deaths of officers. And then here it says Alexander was first arrested in July 2009 for causing serious bodily injury to a child. Police reported he'd been babysitting his girlfriend's 2-year-old son for the evening when he called her at 11 p.m. and told her to get home now. But he didn't tell her why. When she arrived, she found her child was unresponsive. And this is the person they've decided to represent them. It says a whole lot about Carmelo Anthony's supporters. Alexander told his girlfriend that he had been watching a movie with her son, on the couch. He paused the movie, police reported, and as he walked into the computer room, he heard the sound of her son, who was asleep on the couch, fall off the couch and onto the carpet. But the doctor disagreed with his statement. He examined Alexander's girlfriend's son in the intensive care unit and reported that the child had a subdural hemorrhage between the halves of his brain and at the back of the brain. He also had retinal hemorrhages in both eyes. The severity of his injuries is not consistent with rolling off the couch, the investigating officer reported, the doctor saying. The injuries are acute and likely occurred around the time that his girlfriend's son started to have symptoms like being unresponsive. Without more adequate history of trauma, complainant's injuries are more consistent with abusive head trauma and child physical abuse. That really tells you a lot about this Dominique Alexander that is reportedly Carmelo Anthony's spokesperson. I have so many questions even in that case. Why would he not tell the girlfriend right away that her son was in danger? He just said, come home. And then you were charged with child abuse? But that's a whole nother story for another day. But I wanted you guys to think about that. This is the person that they have decided to report on their behalf. Let's keep going.
And racist threats, online hate directed at the Anthony family. Let me be clear. The Anthony family cannot leave their home because of the growing threats towards their safety. Their personal address has been exposed. They have received graphic and racist threats. They are being targeted with violence and simply because their child is in the center of this tragedy. We are here this justice must be fair and impartial and protected from biases.
Where was justice in the case where you had abused a child? But anyways.
We cannot allow racism and bigotry to divide us. We cannot allow white America to decide when and how black people can speak up against oppression. We do not pull the race card. We live it. Yes, this case is a tragedy.
I told y'all he was going to play victim. They have the truth is not on their side, so they can't help but play victim. I will be showing you guys some of the racist comments that have been put out about Austin Metcalf. Okay? You don't see Austin Metcalf's family coming out and saying what this person is saying, which they are the actual victims in this situation. They're the ones who lost their son. See how they're trying to do some sort of reverse psychology? It's just straight evil, to be honest. The fact that they're trying to twist this, it's like they're trying to create, it's conditioning is what they're trying to do.
Anytime a child is lost, we mourn as a community. Our heart goes out.
See how, he's like, our heart goes out to Austin Metcalf and his family, But the real tragedy is that Carmelo Anthony's family is facing racism. And they can't leave their home because the racist white people. That's the real issue here. You see how they're trying to change it? They're trying to make it to where it's like they want you to put on some rose-colored glasses. They want you to put on some glasses that kind of blind you from the truth.
The family of Austin Metcalf. But we do not erase the right of the Anthony family to be protected and heard and treated with dignity. That's why today we spoke with the Frisco Police Department leadership to demand answers.
I will let Jason Whitlock, I'll let him kind of explain some of the other parts of this video because we obviously only have so much time per segment. But I wanted to share this with you guys, the last couple minutes of this conversation, because it gets very tense and you can hear the press kind of going, what are you even talking about? And you're going to notice, I want you to notice something as I'm playing this. They're making it seem like Austin Metcalf's family has to defend the fact that their son was brutally murdered. and unalived by Karmelo Anthony. They're not the defendants in this case, okay? Karmelo Anthony is the defendant. But see how they're trying to put Austin Metcalf's family and Austin Metcalf on trial? This is sick behavior.
And I just got to call a spade a spade. No matter what my personal views of a case may be, it is quite contradicting for America to come back and say, oh, Cal Rittenhouse can have it. George Zimmerman can have it. All of these individuals that don't look like the color of my skin.
See how he's bringing up other cases? Sir, we're focused on Karmelo Anthony's case. We're not focused on anybody else's case right now. We're not focused on their case. Stop trying to make this into something it isn't. This is about getting justice for Austin Metcalf, a young man who was 17 years old, who was a D1 athlete, who had D1 athletic prospects. He was going to go off to probably play college football and become, who knows, an NFL player. Make a name for himself and his family. Someone who had a twin brother, his other half, and he had parents who loved him. That's what this case is about, getting justice for him. I don't know how in the world they're trying to flip it as if Karmelo Anthony is the victim. No, Karmelo Anthony obviously had an envy issue. He probably saw how amazing Austin Metcalf was. He could sense that he had a lot going for him, even though he hadn't. See, the light of God is on us. That's what y'all don't realize sometimes, is that the light of God, if you're a believer, that light really does shine bright on you. And people don't always like that. And so it seems like Karmelo Anthony knew he could see that light on Austin Metcalf, and he decided that he wanted to dim that light. He's the one who decided to bring a knife to a school event. He's the one who decided that it was okay to take someone else's life. Let's not get the facts confused in this case. I don't know what this spokesperson is even talking about. It makes you sound crazy, if I'm being honest. Crazy work. This is crazy work. That they have engineered a whole new narrative that is false, that is disturbing. It's even upsetting.
Have it. In the state of Texas, we live in a state where yet you can walk around with a permitless carry. You can walk around with a brass knuckles. You can walk around with a knife. You can walk around with all these things. AK-47 in the state of Texas. And then as soon as you see a black person exercise those rights, we now have a problem. And that's not me spitting hate or race or bigotry. That's the facts. And like I put a statement, what we're not going to do.
This is just straight lies. It's not a problem because Karmelo Anthony is black. It's a problem that he took a life, that he committed a senseless act and murdered somebody. That's what the problem is. What are you even talking about here? This has nothing to do with Karmelo Anthony's race. This has everything to do with Karmelo Anthony's choices.
After 400 years of oppression of black people in America, is yet justify ourselves every time a situation comes up with one of our children. We want them to have those same rights that everybody else. We want him to have his same day in court as Cal Rittenhouse. We want him to have his same day in court like anybody else. And he will have that. And he will put up the proper defense. And all of these questions will be answered. But the unfairness in this case is gross. And I think that the people in the community understands that. And that's where some of this pushback is coming from, because there's gross negligence in regards to in huge biases. And that's the reason why the Next Generation Network has to get involved with it.
Where are the huge biases? Because if this was a case like George Floyd, you would see people going crazy. You would see buildings being destroyed. You would see police precincts being lit on fire. You would see articles starting out by you would see every single article start out by saying, black man killed by white police officer, black man killed by white man. Where are these biases that he is talking about? because I'm not seeing it. What I've been seeing are fake narratives going around, fake social media accounts, fake autopsies, fake police reports that you guys, the Karmelo Anthony supporters, have been putting out. Please make it make sense to me.
Beginning, because we are afforded these rights.
How do you feel like the way the media portrayed it at the very beginning when this first came out?
I'll say this. Anybody that is putting stuff out here in this case, and this is the reason why the Next Generation Action Network, until that letter that we sent, stayed silent over the weekend while we investigated this case, because we knew that we had a responsibility to ensure that we put out the facts, truth, and that we knew exactly what we are talking about. And I just say this, the media has a responsibility to ensure when you are putting things out on your platform that you are not feeding into some of the racial divides and some of the biases in regards to this case, right? I can't.
Says the person who literally said at the beginning of this that it is about race. And people who aren't making it about race are basically, they should be making it about race because it is a race issue. Karmelo, this is about the fact that Karmelo Anthony is a black man who is being mistreated by the law. He literally said it was about race. So now you're contradicting yourself, sir.
To the nuances of it or whatever and stuff like that. But I'll just end with this. In an interview that I know that any prosecutor that got hold of this case wouldn't have never wanted the brother of Austin Metcalf to do is say what he said on the news. And it is clear. It is clear. In his own words, he stated that Karmelo Anthony said, "Don't put your hands on me."
Karmelo Anthony said, "Touch me and see what happens," sir. Karmelo Anthony provoked the situation. It wasn't self-defense. If he was so worried about defending himself, he could have walked away. They could even had a little bit of fight. High school fights happen. But this young man took it too far, and that's the issue in this case. Is he unalived somebody senselessly? Come on. Let's focus on the facts.
That's all we hear. Certain things were loosely said. There was certain things that was loosely said in that interview that I just point people to. I don't want to ignite things or try to, speak for his legal defense or whatever it may be. But
his legal defense. What is he talking about? Karmelo Anthony is the defendant in this case, not Austin Metcalf or his family. See, this is what the big point of this is. This is what this show is about today. The fact that they are trying to change the narrative. They are making up stories. They've created this whole new story that Karmelo Anthony is a victim, and he's not.
He stated, y'all, and the
See,
hate.
You can hear the news is the reporters are literally like, "Sorry, what are you talking about?" That's literally what they're asked. Like, they're confused by this statement
That was given regarding this case, the bias, that's what has us here today. He should be afforded the same rights that anybody that displays that self-defense claim. He should have the right to do those things and say those things. And someone getting...
Yeah, he has the right to say those things, but that doesn't make it true. That doesn't mean just because he said it, it's facts. Okay?
Mad that he say that, and that's what we're saying it. I didn't see you saying that when Cal hit Rittenhouse. And to say that's not the same.
You guys can kind of see the narrative here. Let's go to the next segment. All right, y'all. So finally, I want to share this from Jason Whitlock. I think he did a great job explaining what Karmelo Anthony's supporters' mindset is and what their plans are. So let's go ahead and watch what he had to say.
I want to play shot number 2 just over again so that, one, I'm crystal clear in what I heard, and this is like the 3rd or 4th time I've heard it, but I just want to be crystal clear. Let's play the second shot all over again.
Okay, with the 75 people they say they interviewed, did they say anything about video was
Yes,
recording?
they have collected video.
So video of the incident.
Yes, they have collected video.
Okay.
There is video of the actual stabbing.
There is video. There are several different video that they verified.
Does that not sound clear as day? That he's insinuating there's direct video evidence of what transpired. And so he had just met with police that day. And you got to remember, Austin Metcalf was murdered on August 2nd. That's just 1 week ago. It feels like it was 2 weeks ago, but it was just 1 week ago today that he was killed. And so he and the family, I think, are just getting connected and talking to the police in a real way. I know this was his first meeting. Karmelo Anthony's parents, the way he's framed his entire press conference, were frustrated about the lack of communication they were getting from police. So what I think transpired, this is me as a journalist putting my instincts together and just my discernment together, is like he just found out that day or the day before, whenever he had that meeting, like, no, we got this thing on tape, bro. This self-defense deal that y'all talking about, not
Who Jason Whitlock is saying, hey, bro, we got this meeting on this video on tape, or we got this situation on tape. He's referring to probably the police department, because you just saw in the previous segment that the spokesperson had said that he had spoken with the police department. So the police department is literally saying this.
By the video evidence. And so when he hears that and the family hears that, they go into backpedal mode. Hey, get out there and tell people we're being harassed, our lives are in jeopardy, we need more police protection. Why are they doing this? Get out there and say, hey, this bad information that's being floated out there about Austin Metcalf, that's painting Karmelo as some kind of guy that did some sort of self-defense, hey, that's going to blow up in our face and probably create more hostility towards us, the parents. So let's put it out there. Let's put some clues out there so that when it all blows up, we can say, we were trying to tell y'all there was bad information out there. We weren't responsible for that. Look at what Dominique Alexander did. He went out and told you guys this was bad information. There's a backpedal going on. Mm-hmm. And the reason they're backpedaling, and this is what has me concerned, is that this video.
Listen to the concern that Jason Whitlock is about to share. I think it's really important, and this is what we've been trying to avoid this whole time. That's why I have literally told you guys, I don't want people thinking that Black people are against the truth. And that's why I've been sharing it, because this is creating a race conflict that does not need to happen. We don't need this sort of division in our country. But the truth is that some people are enemies to the truth. When it doesn't fit their narrative, when they don't like it, they are willing to go as far as they can, even if that means lying on a victim who lost their life. They will do that, and it's so sad. But we've been trying to avoid this the whole time. But maybe it's unavoidable. I don't know. Let's hear what Jason has to say.
Is going to be so bad, so grotesque, so unfair, and it's going to paint the people that have been running around trying to defend Karmelo Anthony in such a bad light that the same way the George Floyd video triggered Black people and guilt-ridden white people into never again, draw a line in the sand, burn down every city, attack the police, blah, blah, that they're afraid that this Karmelo Anthony stabbing of Austin Metcalf is going to make white people say, never again, you idiots that defended him, you're so ridden with racism and blah, blah, blah. that white people are going to have their line that they draw in the sand, their never forget moment, their thoughts of like, and they won't be thinking about a 45-year-old career criminal filled up on enough fentanyl to kill 12 horses. Mm-hmm. They're going to be thinking about a 17-year-old with a bright future, a committed Christian, a 3.97 grade point average, a Division I college football recruit who had his life cut short because some black kid has no emotional control. Some black kid has grown up in this culture that says anything he interprets as disrespect is justification for violence.
All right, y'all. So I think Jason Whitlock summed it up really well. That's exactly what's happening in this case, is they're creating a race conflict because they're against the truth. Okay? At the end of the day, if there was so much evidence that supports Karmelo Anthony's side, we would be seeing that evidence. But because there's not evidence, and there's a video, apparently, they have decided to pull the race card. This is what they're going to do. We have now identified their next steps. My prayer is that they stop what they're doing and they come to the truth. The truth is colorblind, and that's what they should realize. I'm Tamera. Thank you for watching the Tamera Nealy Show. Remember to like, comment, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section if you support what we're doing here, because at the end of the day, that is how more people hear it, is when we boost this videos like this in the algorithm. So please help us reach our goal of 100,000. Our next goal of 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I want to shout out my TikTok community. Thank you for supporting the Tamera Nealy Show. I love you all, and you'll hear from me soon, okay?